Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich, playing as the Russian Empire. Real quick note, for those of you guys who did not see the video announcing that I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube in the near future, I would recommend you check out that video, but if those of you guys are worried that we're not going to finish out this series, hey, don't worry about it, we are going to be finishing this out before I take a break. Just understand after this there's not going to be any content for at least a little while, if not a long while. I haven't really decided all that yet. Okay, so, we are still engaged in a combat against the Reichsmacht over in Eastern Europe. I think we are about ready to go for the kill against the German Empire, and with 50% collaboration, we should really enjoy a lot of extra factories and resources and manpower simply by taking that down. I want to do that soon, though, because I actually sort of suspect the Third Internationale is in trouble. Canada has successfully invaded the UK, which means the Union of Britain is going to be falling under a monarchy once again pretty soon. It looks to me like the Socialist Republic of Italy is starting to be crushed by the Austrians, which means only France is left. If the Third Internationale is dead, that means the Reichsmacht is going to be able to focus everything they've got against me, and I don't like that one little bit. So the faster we can take out the Germans, probably going to be the better for me. So that's kind of my next major goal. Besides that, some of you guys who are extremely observant might have noticed I've spent some of my Navy experience, and that's because I have been playing around a little bit with some template designs for some ships. Let me show you guys what I've done up to this point. So the meta that I'm going for right now is basically destroyers, roach destroyers that are cheap to make and mass produce for screening, and then heavy cruisers as a capital ship. Now, this is where there's a bit of deliberation as to whether I should be using heavy cruisers or light cruisers, but here's the reasoning that I'm going for. So destroyers, if I go to my generalist right here, are going to be screening ships, right? There's 3 different tiers of combat, like layers of combat, kind of like rows in EU4, for naval combat. There's screening ships, which is basically your destroyers and your light cruisers. There's capital ships, which is your battleships, battle cruisers, heavy cruisers. And then there's carriers in the very, very back, right? If you are, let's say, a capital ship and you have light attack, you start hitting the screening ships, but only heavy attack is able to reach those capital ships. Torpedoes can also take out capital ships, but so long as there are destroyers that are screening for them, they can't be hit by those. So the goal that I'm going for is to produce a lot of destroyers to fill that screen so that I can't get hit by torpedoes, right? And then fill them with torpedoes themselves to go in collaboration with my anti-destroyer heavy cruiser. So my heavy cruiser here is only heavy because I included 1 medium battery. If this is a light battery, it actually would be qualified as a light cruiser. You can see this little diamond right here that says it's a capital ship. Capital ships, being in the second row, can't be hit by the light attack of the enemy destroyers, right? Only by heavy attack of enemy capital ships. But here's the fun thing. With this design, what I've done with it is made it a heavy cruiser kind of in name only, with 1 medium battery. Almost everything else is built for speed and light attack. So we have an extremely fast heavy cruiser at 40 is this kilonauts? That's not in meters. I think it's knots. Yeah, sorry, 41 knots. That's pretty darn fast for a heavy cruiser, which basically means enemy heavy attack is going to have a heck of a time actually hitting this. The evasion chance is very high, but it's also loaded with enough light attack that it can start shredding through enemy destroyers. Once the enemy destroyer screens are gone, this is not going to be very useful against capital ships, but that's where my screens, my torpedo destroyers, can start obliterating enemy capital ships. That's the idea. Now, if this were a light cruiser, it would be vulnerable to enemy light attack. By keeping it in the heavy cruiser, the only thing that can hit it are enemy heavy capital ships, and because I have such high evasion chance, they basically can't hit me. So these are supposed to be effectively immune and just melt through screening ships so that I can torpedo my enemy into oblivion. That's the idea. So we're going to try for something like this and see how well it goes. Technically speaking, with my screens, what I could be doing is going for something cheaper with just torpedoes and no light guns at all. But I want to have at least a little bit of light guns. I don't even know if I really benefit from this, but I'm trying to have just a little bit of extra attack on this. It only affects the speed by like -1. And regardless, we can afford to make them a little bit more expensive because right now they have an industrial cost of only $890 versus my cruiser at $4,551, which basically means I'm building 4 destroyers for every 1 cruiser at maxed out factories here, or at equivalent factories, 5 dockyards each. So that's enough for a fleet, basically. We can make a strike force just out of these 2 being produced, and we're going to see how well it works. Now, I may want to mix in a few specialist ships as well, specifically spotting ships with, like, let's say, plane launchers and radar and sonar and stuff like that. I might mix a few of those in, but for now, that's what I've got available. We haven't even researched all the radar and stuff I would need, so we're not going to worry about that. There goes Britain, just like that. Holy crud. I literally unpaused the game, and it just died. Did I end the last episode at the perfect moment, or what? Alright. Well, we're still going... Ooh, game, don't go slow on me. We're still trying to make a push along this river to try and cut off a lot of forces over around Danzig. I think we should be able to do that really without much issue. These guys are going to have to start pulling themselves back a little bit, because they can't make any push with just some simple militia. And here we go, still pushing forward. You guys, go ahead and move in. Let's try to prevent these guys from blocking off my tanks. That would obviously suck quite a bit. Now, one downside of this current design attack that I'm doing is I don't have very fast units, so it'd be very easy for my medium tanks to suddenly get cut off. So we got to be somewhat careful about that. I'm going to leave behind a tank over here, for example, and we're going to leave behind at least a few. One of you guys, go ahead and turn around and basically just head up this way along toward Danzig itself, and we'll try to take this side of the river just to kind of give myself a tiny little bit of extra buffer room. But these guys are going to be finding themselves getting pretty well stuck right about now. Let's go ahead and try to pin some of these guys down, if at all possible. I don't want them going anywhere. I want to make sure that it is really easy for me to keep them under control. We could do something kind of similar right along here, just attack into Elbing while I go for Danzig, but pretty soon these guys are going to be officially cut off and have no form of reinforcements, or supply, I mean to say. So yeah, they're doomed. And my medium tanks are fast enough. They are just absolutely shredding this right now. Let's go ahead and take one of you to go ahead and just start clearing all this nonsense out real quick, so I don't have to worry about it. You're fast enough, it won't be a problem. There we go. And then we'll have them start splitting themselves back up. Now, this naval composition I'm going for is pretty well dependent on going down trade interdiction for the cruiser surface detection being reduced, or surface visibility, because that effectively increases evasion chance anymore. We're stacking up as much speed and evasion as possible, and that's the only reason this works. If my heavy cruisers are not fast enough and they get hit by the enemy, I'm doomed. So we would want to go down this route, and the good news about the design I'm going for is you really only have to go down 2 doctrines to get pretty much maximum benefit. I mean, I don't care about battleship surface visibility. I don't care about dreadnought organization and stuff. Like, I don't have to go down most of these. These 2 are the only that are beneficial, and they take so long that I can just get my fleet up to maximum capacity pretty darn quick. Okay, as long as my front line reinforces over here, don't think I'm in any danger, and that's a nice little encirclement for me. Perfecto. We did finish up a collaboration attempt against the Ottomans. You can take a look right here. 50% once again. Yeah, that's pretty good. We could do it again. I don't know if we want to or not. Depends. I was going to say it would be really beneficial to try and get a collaboration going against the Commune of France, but I'm honestly not convinced the Commune of France is going to live that long. So do we go for another run against the Ottomans just to make it really easy to make them capitulate to me later? Could do that. I don't think I have time to go for another round with the Germans. Could try against, let's say, Austria. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we could do. We could try spying on Austria. We already have 80% spy network here in Constantinople. I think maybe we do go for another round of collaboration government, just to make sure these guys are going to fall very quickly to me. So we'll go ahead and put you in charge there, and we'll put you in charge here, and commence when ready. And by the time that I'm done with this war against the Reichsmacht, I'm hoping that I'll be able to basically just snuff out the Ottomans in like no time flat. Ah, good. The national focus for war under the sea is done, which means we got rid of the disorganized naval cabinet. So now we have a 75% boost to our naval doctrine, and we got a boost, just 100% for our trade interdiction specifically. That's great. A boost for destroyer models. Tempting. Not sure I need that at the moment, though. We could go for the Mountaineers and Marine technology, or I could start working down, let's say, some extra bonuses toward fighters, air doctrine, naval bombers, and then mechanized and motorized. Honestly, not a lot of this feels that exciting to me. Maybe we go for the nuclear technology and we'll get an event. Let's try for that. Let's see if we can get something awesome with our nuclear tech. That does sound like the most fun, right? I think so. We do have a couple more military factories that are getting produced. I am producing some self-propelled artillery with the intention of working those into my 40 combat width medium tank divisions. I think they're going to be the best. As far as logistics, we're looking pretty good across the board. I wouldn't mind making some more heavy tanks just to ensure I have a bit of a buffer. But beyond that, not too important. I also feel like we're still a little bit low on infantry equipment overall. But we're okay for the moment. We'll go ahead and focus a couple more factories on this, but I'll probably end up pulling back once we get up to some more efficiency. This should be fine. We're producing plenty of medium tanks per day right now, so Yeah, that's going to be fine. We're going to be able to start fielding a lot more 40 combat wits very, very soon, I think. And we were unable to completely annihilate this army, unfortunately, before they were able to get some more reserves back on track, but we are punching them all down pretty quick. And the rest are going to be overrun, just like so, and that finishes that off. Perfect. All right. So be very, very afraid, Germany. I'm coming for you. Let's go ahead and take my tanks, and where do we want to go next? I mean, we could just make a run for things like Berlin. Let's see. As far as our current war, again, I don't see my flag anywhere on here, so it's hard to tell exactly where I am. Is it the Filipino-Austrian War? It should be enough that we can at least see Germany here somewhere. No, maybe? Where's Germany? There it is. Okay, so there's a collaboration. They're still only 10% of the way towards capitulation. So we got a ways to go with that. Still, I think if we want to go for a few more pushes, we could. At the same time, I don't think Poland is officially capitulated, so we could go ahead and finish them off as well. What would be best for me? What would I do? I could try to make my way along the northern coast, but that's just going to spread my line out pretty thin and not really benefit me at all. I want to do some more encirclements, so what's the obvious way to go? Well, we could try going along this direction, down Breslau and down to Krakow, and see if we can finish off Poland and Galicia and Lodomeria at the same time. And trap all of these units and get them killed. Yes, I think that's going to be the play. So let's go ahead and modify our front lines and try for exactly that. And you know what? I think something else we're going to do is we're going to stop spying on France, because as fun as it was the idea to take them on, I really wasn't expecting the Third Internationale to fall apart like that. So instead, we're going to go ahead and start spying on Japan. Because I know that I'm going to get myself into a war against Japan in the future, and Japan can be an absolute pain to take down. So getting some collaboration to make it a lot easier for them to capitulate would be pretty helpful for me. Also, we can go for another advisor, Chief of Army. Probably good to go for the Armored Spearhead, honestly. Just getting better attack, better armor, having more max speed and breakthrough just makes my tanks better. I mean, that's pretty darn awesome. I mean, division organization plus supply consumption reduction can be helpful. Defense can be good. I don't really care about the division entrenchment and experience and planning speed. No, this is the best one. Armored Spearhead is what we're going to go for. Now, I'd be tempted to hold on to political power with the knowledge that we are going to want to annex some territory in the future. So I think from here on out, we don't spend any more political power. We start stockpiling it, because I'm going to want to annex some territory and not create tons and tons of vassals. At the same time, I'm going to have to create some vassals, because I don't want to lose a ton of base stability. So, you know, how much do I really need? Hard to predict, but I'd rather have too much, and I'll just spend it on something else later. Depth charge throwers are done, which is good if I want to create some dedicated submarine hunting fleets, and for that, actually, we do need passive sonar. Detecting subs can be actually really hard. Having lots of sub detection ends up becoming extremely important if you want to pull that one off. Alright, let's go ahead and use my 6 tanks, and we're going to go ahead and start pushing against the river, and we're going to see how far we can get. Hindenburg! That sounds like a place just waiting for a disaster. Here come the Russian tanks! Albania just declared war on the Kingdom of Greece? That's a little bit weird. I definitely was not expecting that at all. You're a part of no faction. Can I invite you to my faction? No. Why can't I invite you to my faction? Maybe you should be friends with me. You're gonna be fighting the Kingdom of Greece? Oh, no. Alright, well, they just called in the German Empire. Albania, I'm not sure what you're trying to do there, but I guess Greece doesn't have a lot of troops left. Regardless, I think you and I should be on the same side. Albania, I really don't know what you were thinking there. The French Republic, it looks like they're gonna get France back. Man, I really was not expecting a successful Entente run, but I think that's part of what happens when you have, like, I don't know, the United States win their war in the Civil War. What is going on with all that nonsense? Please stop it. Okay, so let's see. We have some more dockyards available because we finished up some ships. That's great. I'm currently producing just lots and lots of submarines over here. I could pull back on that, but I don't think I will. We don't really need to up our destroyer production right now because we're already producing more of those than I need. So let's go ahead and start producing a handful more of the advanced cruisers, then we'll go ahead and worry about adding on more destroyers on top of that. Okay, are we building any more dockyards? We're not. We probably should go ahead and start building a few, though. Because if I'm going to try to go for the naval game and try to contest against Japan, I'm going to want these. So, wherever I can find some good infrastructure, which is basically nowhere, okay, let's just try to build out a few more dockyards. And there we go, another couple nice little encirclements down here. Not as big of a catch this time around, but it's still another like 20 divisions that we can take away from them is pretty awesome. Can you just quickly march over here? Because it looks like they've just left themselves open, and I don't see any reason not to capitalize on that and take these mountains so that we don't have to worry about defending this front line anymore. We can just tighten things up a little bit. Hey, we finished some more defensive units. Nice. Let's go ahead and toss them on there. Okay, that's a third full defensive army ready to go. How are those 40 combat wits doing? Still taking a very, very long time to train up, but I'm working on it, dang it. I also did create a unit of Coast Guards, which is basically just 10 combat with cavalry with some entrenchment, with the idea being that if we're going to be fighting against people doing naval invasions in the future, I want to be able to have some fast-moving response units along the coast. So just going to have a handful of those. I don't expect them to be very, very important. But let's suppose I get into a conflict against, I don't know, the Entente in the near future. Be glad you had that. And Poland is out for the count as well, which means, once again, I get a lot of their equipment. Nice. And they're actually going to try to take back this little victory point right here, but that's actually a major source of supply that has just suddenly flipped over to me, despite the fact that it wasn't occupied. So we can actually stop them from getting any more supplies. Ah, beautiful. Well, that concludes that encirclement, so that worked out pretty well. Let's go ahead and move the tanks into position. I think what we're going to do now is try to push basically along this river up toward Hamburg and see if we can encircle any units up over here, though to be honest, I see very little, and it looks to me like they honestly are just giving me free reign to go ahead and attack them and push right through here. So let's just go ahead and attack along here and prevent them from going anywhere. We're going to grab Stettin. And the rest of you guys, just go ahead and start moving forward. Go ahead and grab some free territory. Let's see what happens with this. I also think it might be smart for me to go ahead and create some motorized divisions that can follow behind these tanks quickly so I don't have to worry on slow infantry to do the job. What would be the easiest way for me to do that with the least amount of army experience? I think it's probably converting these 20 widths. So let's go ahead and make these into 20 with motorized, and we're going to go ahead and swap these guys out with some mobile battalions, like so. Except we don't actually, yeah, that's fine. We can go ahead and leave it as this. I can move you, actually, and just move you like this. I don't think it costs me anything in terms of XP. Do we care about having the armored recon? I mean, it can be nice to have just a little bit of armor, I suppose, for the same reasons our basic defensive infantry have it. So that's okay. We have a tiny bit of hardness value, too, which means we take a little bit less soft attack, but we do take hard attack instead. Maintenance companies is okay. Actually not bad just because you can actually capture equipment a little bit better, so that's not bad, and we want everything else here, I think. Maybe not the support anti-air, but we have enough of that going around, I think we're fine. So let's go ahead and save that out as another template, and we're going to go ahead and start training up a few of these as a complement to my tank divisions, just to ensure they have some fast-moving defensive units that can keep up with them and make sure I don't accidentally get cut off by being greedy. Oh, and we got our atomic research boost done. Particle physics have achieved many breakthroughs in Russia in the 1930s, spearheaded by scientists such as Igor Kurchatov, Abram Alkikonov, and Georgy Flerov, and others. Whatever. Our experimental research institutes have formed a sound theory on the potential held by nuclear fission. They were not the only ones, however. It is no mystery that nuclear physicists in Germany and the Third International have been delving into the potential of nuclear power as well, and all of them have come to the same conclusion, that it can be weaponized. Igor and several other Russian nuclear physicists have collectively signed a petition and presented it to Dmitry, where they have rang the alarm bells. We have been informed that foreign scientific journals have ceased any and all publications about nuclear research, even the most mundane reports, which can only mean it has become confidential information and that Russia's enemies must be actively developing nuclear armaments. The only answer is to create a dedicated Russian nuclear weapons program, a request which we have received. So, under personal orders, we are creating our own nuclear support program. Great, more war support that I don't need. Most importantly, though, we did indeed get the slight boost for my research into nuclear tech later. Alright, so that's all great. Enemy to the east, I don't need yet. I think we just go ahead and grab the 3% research speed. I kind of forgot that that was an option, and that obviously is beneficial, so we should probably just go ahead and do that. Can you get up here toward Berlin, Mr. Tank? Because I need some extra help there, apparently. I mean, we're winning this, no doubt, but it's going slower than I would have liked. And we're also getting attacked on multiple ends, which is just hurting my organization. So a little extra tankage over here should make a difference. Now we're fitting 4 tank divisions in here, so that's 100 combat width that is being used up. You only have 24 being used up? Are these 12 combat width units? How do you have such high defense? I guess from entrenchment. With such absolutely ludicrously weak units. I don't approve of that, Austria. What are you thinking? And that's Rockstock figured out. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of tanks and see if we can push along the coast over here. We're going to go ahead and start trying to clear these guys out so they don't have much room to work with. You're going to go ahead and push up toward Lübeck. Let's go ahead and get to Kiel and see if we can grab a major river, which is going to be a lot harder for the remaining Danish forces to take over. We'll grab some big victory points along there. More factories to work with. I keep building more of them. Well, we're producing a lot more fighters. We're producing a good amount of close air support. Might need more fighters. I don't need more medium tanks. I think we're doing okay on everything else. We got a pretty good amount of motorized coming in. We've got a good number of heavy tanks as well. Light self-propelled artillery. You built a couple of those? Somebody did. Weird. Well, there's really not much more I need. I guess we'll go ahead and toss a couple extra factories into improved anti-air just so we can get some better upgrades along there. Let's go ahead and crush this cavalry real quick before he goes anywhere. You're about to grab this fort. That's going to be very helpful. Thank you kindly. They're going to try to move across the river pretty soon, I imagine. Let's see if we can take out Hamburg one-on-one. One tank easily should be able to beat this down. You've got practically no soft attack value, plus I have the armor, so with no piercing, yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing. We can handle that. All right, turn you around, clear this out, and what am I going to do with red now? Great question. I think we're going to spearhead basically a push down toward Essen and see if we can grab enough remaining victory points that the Germans just have to give up. Though with the fall of Berlin, let's see, where would be the German Empire in this list? German Empire, still only 35% of the way towards capitulation, despite my best efforts there. That honestly surprises me quite a bit. All right, no, I'm not worried about it, though. We'll be able to finish them off. We also can go ahead and do the atomic research. 183 days is completely fine with me. And with radar tech done, let's go to our template for our ship here. Let's just see what happens. If I were to add on some radar, it adds on surface detection. Surface detection is good to increase the likelihood of hitting your enemies. I think it's kind of like an accuracy system over evasion, I think. Or at least it counters enemy surface visibility. I don't know if this is going to result in an actual boost for me right now, though. I don't think it is, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore it. Maybe higher levels of radar will end up being relevant, but until we get involved in our first engagement against an enemy navy, I really have no idea whether we need that or not. Gosh dang, the clergy criticized me again. You guys are just so stinking critical. Maybe I should just become a theocratic state so I wouldn't have to worry about that nonsense. I'm sure it would have created some other nasty negative stability events, but sometimes it feels like that might have been preferable. Ooh! Guess who's got a 40 combat with? Let's go ahead and toss this in there and see what happens. 1,410 breakthrough. Absolute overkill at this point does not get me extra bonuses against them. No extra attack as long as we've overcome their defense, that's all that matters. Which is one of the reasons I like to add in the self-propelled artillery, because then we can take advantage of even more soft attack. As long as we're overcoming that defense, that's all that matters. But now this guy alone is like an army destroyer, and we can go ahead and start using the 40 combat wits to be stupidly aggressive. Speaking of changing up our 40 combat wits, I'm just curious, if I were to swap you guys out for the medium self-propelled artillery for 10 XP, we can save up some of our tanks, which is nice. We don't have enough yet. We're not that far off, though. I think I'll hold off for just a little bit longer, but yeah, very soon it's time for us to start swapping those in. How much are we producing in terms of self-propelled? We're producing 2 per day, so in a couple of weeks, we'll have enough to at least change up the templates we're currently fielding. We'll see where things go from there. In the meantime, here's another 40 combat with. Let's just go ahead and go mano-a-mano against this thing. Absolutely can handle this. Loads more soft attack, except for some bad tactics, I suppose, but besides that. So we should be able to win that. Hey, concentrated industry, more factory output. Love to see it. Okay. What else do we want? Well, upgrade some more radar is tempting, but I think now it's time to go ahead and start working on some of that naval doctrine, right? So let's go for trade interdiction. 110 days is so much better than the 440 they were threatening me with earlier. Good lord. Hey, let's go ahead and kill these guys. They got like no organization. And now they're cut off. Ha 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 ha! Suckers! You shall all fall! The commune of Hawaii has capitulated. Really? To who? The U.S.? Oh, yeah, okay. I guess Hawaii must have joined the Third Internationale because the United States is regaining their territory. Good for them. Blitzkrieg tech is done. Well, I think I've been doing that for a while, but that's even more organization recovery for my tanks. Now we can go for Kampfgruppe, or whatever you're supposed to call it, which gives me even more recovery rate and a lot of organization for my infantry, plus a planning speed boost, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and just spend some army experience, because the faster you get those doctrines, sometimes the better. Hello, Coast Guards. Let's go ahead and send you guys. You're going to get some meaningless general that I don't really care about. How about you? I don't know who you are, I apologize, I just don't really care about you. Let's go for the area defense, specifically looking to guard the naval bases more than anything else. And we'll set you guys up along my coastline here in the Black Sea, because I don't feel like taking any more chances of another Georgia situation, you know what I mean? So that should be easy enough. And then you know what, let's go ahead and also set up a few in this direction, since I think I have a few extra to go around. And by think, I know I have quite a few extra to go around. We'll just grab up some of these ports, make sure they're all guarded as well. I don't think Sweden's going to be able to do anything, but why take stupid risks, right? Well, looks like we actually got pushed out over here in Odense, or Odense, whichever it's supposed to be. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to try to hold on to this while I get some defensive units up over here so we can hold this. I'd like to go for Copenhagen just to knock Denmark out of the picture, if at all possible. I did send my tanks on a planned order, just go ahead and attack, and for some reason we still haven't been able to cross the river with my 40 combat widths over here, because they have just enough of the defense. They're actually doing okay. I have a pretty nasty malice for trying to cross the terrain here. Mine's 42%. It does end up being a lot. These tanks, on the other hand, still not doing great. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see if we can assist with a little bit of extra firepower in this direction. You guys, honestly, don't need to be crossing the river over here. It seems kind of irrelevant. What if you attack over here instead? There's the passive sonar. Okay, so with that done, great. We could go for another level of this, but, I mean, honestly, I don't think I need any of these right now. I will go for the improved airplane catapult. I decided to go ahead and push everything we've got in just this one little area instead. And actually, I'm still doing this wrong. We should be sending the 40 combat widths first, plus a couple of tanks. Do this. There we go. You guys, nope, you're supposed to be attacking over here. No, stop, you're supposed to be attacking over here. There we go. Now we can focus a lot more firepower in this area. Now we should be able to push across. All I have to do is just cross the river. I don't have to do much else. If I can successfully cross the river, we should be able to punch through and finish this. And anyways, we have been talking about creating an anti-sub destroyer. This might end up being the best for me. Let's see. We can go for the sonar right along here, which increases sub detection by 4, which is pretty decent. We will have the anti-submarine warfare. We can go for an upgrade to our depth charges. I don't think I really care. I want to make these guys cheap is the thing. I want to keep them as cheap as possible. I think we have to keep light batteries. I don't think we have a choice in that. So I have to go for one level there. But beyond that, let's go ahead and grab depth charges. We've already got the sonar. We don't need torpedoes. These are pointless. We can go for a slight upgrade in engines, I suppose. And is that it? I don't need anti-air. So how much do I benefit from adding on even more depth charges? I guess we could go for more. It's only a minus 1% speed. The most important thing is that this does cost more to build, but I think that's all right. Okay, so with the sonar and everything else, this is basically my anti-sub destroyer. We'll go ahead and build some of these, and that's exclusively to protect my convoys more than anything else. And there we go. Looks like we are going to be finally crossing the river. Okay, now the question is how fast can we move? And it looks like they actually abandoned their post at the river over here for some reason too. So let's go ahead and grab this and move over toward Bremen just so we can control that side of things as well. But now you guys should be able to go. I'm going to tell you to be aggressive. Go ahead and aggressively pursue those battle plans. I may have to move command them though, because it looks like they're still looking for stupid fights. I mean, I did say to be aggressive, but I see like obvious places to go instead. So I really don't know what you think you're trying to do over there, but alrighty, that's fine. Just go ahead and have some of you guys push down this direction, get over here. You get across the river along there, get over to Dortmund, and then to Essen. Come on, we gotta finish this war. Come on, speedy tanks. Go get them, speedy tanks. We are actually getting slightly cut off in a couple areas. I gotta be careful about this one, but here we go. Come on, you can get to Essen. I know you can. 40 combat widths and stuff. Absolutely slaughter that fool. There we go. Advanced fire control system's done at a relatively good time. Come on, we can do this. Got Essen. All right, now we want to get to Cologne. We should be getting that next. There it is. Let's get into Aachen so that these guys are sort of surrounded. Who are we fighting over here? Oh, I didn't even realize we were fighting the Netherlands. Ha ha ha, yes, I guess they would be part of the Reichspacht, wouldn't they? Right, let's stop attacking that, because that doesn't matter. Get down toward Frankfurt or something. Come on. We've got to make them capitulate. They've got to be close, right? German Empire. Where the heck are you? You are currently at 81% of the way towards capitulation. That's honestly not as far as I thought you were going to be. Should be about to snag Copenhagen, and that's it, which means Denmark is absolutely about to capitulate. There they go. Thank you. And we're just going to have a few units sit here and just kind of hold the ground against Sweden, but that's one more person out of the way. Thank you kindly. So with that done, what else should we go for? Munich, probably. Yeah, see if we can get down there. Little concerned. We're kind of making this a bit dangerous on ourselves, but if we can indeed force this to just end... Oh, wait. You guys are being stupid. Hang on. Nope, stop attacking. I'm being stupid and aggressive right now. Let's see if we can go down to Mainz or something. I just want to encircle a couple units so they don't have much to work with. I'm being stupid aggressive here because I'm just trying to end the dang war. I want to, well, not the war, but I want to end this dang thing. I want to freaking get Germany the heck out of here. Come on! Ugh, but I think we are out of time, which means I'm just going to have to stop here. Okay, as it is, it's going to be a lot of editing on my part. Oops, alright, maybe a long video. Regardless, the German Empire is on its last legs. They've lost almost their entire industrial base. They are going to be falling apart pretty soon. We'll want to clear out Belgium and the Netherlands just to make sure we don't have to worry about them on our flank. Then we're going to focus our efforts on pushing down whoever remains as major war participants in the Reichspakt. I'm pretty sure it's just the Austrian Empire, but we'll come back to check that in a little bit. In the meantime, the Ottomans are still making their push. If they can successfully take out Egypt, good. That means they will be prime for me to just murder, if at all possible. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I'd ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.